What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Barber Block Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Harris, here in Chandler, Arizona. We've got another special guest on the episode today. I just want to thank you all for liking, for subscribing, for following us, all of that good stuff on YouTube. Man, we are just here to share, to educate, to inspire, and just listen to the stories of some of these great barbers within the community. So let's just jump right into it. Please help me welcome JD BARBA.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you
All right.
for having me.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. So we're just going to jump right into it. We got the product right here on the table. So, one of the things that I talk about is that within barbering, there's so many routes that a barber can take to generate revenue or to make a name for themselves or, whatever it is they want to do. So I see that you have taken one of your routes is through product.
Absolutely.
So why did you take that route through product?
Honestly, I didn't have money to begin with to buy my own product, so making my product was really my only option. So started making it to use on my clients, and the clients actually liked it and wanted, like, how can I buy that? How can I get my own? So I was kind of shocked, that somebody actually wanted it. And that's how it began. I just, bought a few bottles, made a few samples. People started buying it. And from there, it kind of caught on. And it's 5 or 6 years later that I've been doing the oils.
Wow, nice. Congratulations on that. So let's talk about the oils. What's are you have different smells or?
So I have 3 different blends. I have like a peppermint blend. That's the original blend. And it has a tea tree, lavender, eucalyptus. So it's very strong, kind of powerful, but still nothing crazy that, it's overpowering. Then I have a citrus mint. So it's kind of light, still minty, but nice and fresh, citrusy, more like a lot of guys like it for the summertime. And then I have another blend. It just has maybe about 10 different oils, essential oils. So a lot of guys say it smells like Christmas. So they kind of like that in the wintertime. So it's just like 3 different options.
Yeah.
Sometimes I make, a special blend, but everybody's kind of like that. So just kind of sticking to what works.
Nice. And do they all do something different, or is it more about the smell? Or
No, it's really just a different scent to each one, but they're all just kind of to keep the moisture in your groom, kind of keep it tamed, looking sleek and nice, and having that fresh scent throughout the day.
Nice. And if anyone wanted to grab a bottle, where would they find you?
JDBARBA.com. You can find all merch, beard oils. If you want to book an appointment, services, anything like that is on the website, JDBARBA.com.
Nice. I like your packaging. It looks very, very professional, very upscale, and definitely going to have to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now you also do your business a little bit different than a lot of people, and I see it on your shirt. You've got the members only. So go ahead and talk to me about that. How does that work for you?
So I have a membership program, which I have enrolled clients who have been coming to me for years and years, and they consistently were coming in. So I wanted to offer them something and make them kind of elite, something for them, custom, personalized for my clients. So I created the membership program, and I actually kind of took it from another barber. He was telling me about it. He did this with his suite, and it was kind of like a reoccurring billing, like a gym membership. So clients would sign up, I would get their information and credit card, and they would be enrolled monthly, and it would come out. And then you have the option to come weekly, bi-weekly, and you kind of, just depending upon what you do, you get a little bit of a discount. So we were kind of helping each other out. That's how I was able to build my business up with a reoccurring billing. So it was able to allow me to have kind of like a paycheck where I was having a steady income. They were benefiting because they were able to come in. They'd already paid. So it was like no fuss when they got up. They just left. If they wanted to tip me, they were able to tip me. But it also offered them a service and just the convenience. So they loved it. And it's been, I'm probably in my 5th year of the membership.
Nice. Congratulations on that. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all about making it easy for the client, for those who are busy and they don't want to think about it. It's like one less thing they have to think about. Oh, I got to do this, do that. I just need to just sign up and pay is it a monthly charge or?
It's a monthly charge and it's reoccurring. So you just kind of set it up and forget it. If you want to, cancel the membership, I just ask for a 30-day notice.
Yeah.
And I'll, cancel it. A lot of guys like, hey, I'm going away for the summer. Can you put me on hold? When they come back, I can kind of just flip it on and on. So it works like that. And it's just been something great for my members and for my business to not only thrive and stay alive, but just to kind of offer them something unique and different.
That's nice. Yeah, just make it nice and easy.
For sure.
No brainer. Right.
Absolutely.
So you're probably the first, you are the first one that's been on the episode that actually has that sort of process in place. So that's an avenue that, not very many people are familiar with, or maybe they're not comfortable with trying it. So what was it like in the beginning when you decided to shift to that process? What did you think? Did you think it was going to work? Was it kind of slow at first, or what was it like?
With anything, it's kind of slow, and you kind of got to put it out there, and you're going to get a lot of no's. But I think with just like, hey, this is what I want to do, and I think my clients really seen my growth, in my journey, and a lot of people had just been following me. So they seen the consistency and, my hard work. And a lot of it, I don't know if some people just felt bad and were like, okay, Jay, like, we got you. But it was just kind of like, okay, cool, that works. Yeah. Or, I had a lot of gym guys, so they understood, and they went to, like, these small boutique gyms. So they were like, yeah, no problem. We're friends. I see what you're doing. You have a small business. I'd absolutely love to help. How can I, what do I have to do? How can I sign up? So it was kind of slow, but as the years went on, it's just been pretty steady. Yeah. And a lot of people just like it because you just forget about it, and it comes out and it's done, and then you get the savings. And I think they really also love that they're helping a small business, and they see my growth and like, we got you, Jay. Okay, like, you got to raise your prices, or this is going to change, whatever you need to do, just let me know. So it's been really good, but it was slow, just like anything. But I mean, if you're consistent with it, and over time, it'll grow. And
nice. All right, so let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about JD in the young years, and what were you doing prior to barbering, and what got you into barbering?
So I'm originally born and raised in Colorado. I did all of my schooling there. Started going to college in Colorado. I was majoring in radio and TV production. I wanted to be on the radio, wanted to do stuff like this. And I actually really I loved doing it. But life hit me. I had my son when I was 19. And from there, it was just kind of working part-time jobs and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was fortunate enough where I had a lot of family help, so I didn't have to, work crazy hours to do a lot of stuff. So it was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to try this out. I don't like this. I'm going to try this out. So, I mean, I worked everything from, I lifeguarded, and I taught swim lessons all through high school into college, and probably did that till I was like 23, 24. I remember being pregnant and, in the pool teaching the little kids how to swim and lifeguarding. And I worked at a pizza shop in college. I worked at a golf course. Yeah. I did everything, before and after school programs, boys and girls club, things like that. And I was just kind of never I don't like this. This is not what I want to do. I'm not happy. Even did some hospital work, some tech work, and that was good. I got paid good. There was benefits, but it was just this is not what I want to do. And I remember being at certain jobs and just talking with people, and they're like, been here for 15 years. Yeah. And at that time, I didn't really have the understanding of time, so it was 15 years is a long time. In this position, you've been here for 15 years. Well, what do you want to do? And they're talking to me, and it's just I don't really want to know. I don't really know, but I know I want to do something else, something more. And it was just, I remember one lady was like, if you're going to do something, you need to quit this job, immediately. Yeah. Because I had stuff that I wanted to do, and it's 10 years later, and I never did it. Right. You're going to always wait for what's the next paycheck?
When's the right time?
When's the right time? Yeah. And it's never going to be like that. So she was just
the right time is now.
And I remember getting my hair done. I had a good friend. She used to do my hair. Her name was Taz. And she was like a big, hustler, always in the shop. She had like 4 people in her chair, someone in the bowl, someone underneath the dryer in her chair, like someone coming in, and she was just like working it.
Yeah.
And she was a single mom, taking care of her kids. Like, she was able to travel, move around, set her schedule. She was making money. I was like, man, like, I really like that's so cool. But I knew I didn't want to do anything with women's hair, and I really didn't know, like, what am I going to do? And I always liked the barber shop. I remember growing up, like, going to the barber shop with my brother and, then taking my son. And I was kind of like, I like this. Like,
yeah.
I like the ambiance. Like, I like how it's a quick exchange. Like, okay, I give you your service, you give me my money, and we go.
And we're good.
And we're good, and everybody looked, fresh at the barber shop and just kind of like the whole vibe. I really liked that. So I remember getting my hair done one day and was just like, what do you think of me being a barber? And, she's like, why not? Like, you could do whatever you want to do,
right.
Like, but you got to figure out something. Like, you have this son now. Like, you gotta do something. So what are you gonna do? So I played around with the idea for like 3 or 4 years. I went to like every single barber school in my city and like did the tour, did all that, and I just couldn't commit to it. And then finally,
what do you think it was that was holding you back from making the commitment?
I don't know. I think I just was probably afraid to be, consistent with like, okay, this is like a big commitment. I have to be here every day from these hours. Like, I was kind of used to like, I had my son. I was kind of doing my thing, living my life. So I was just like, man, like, I'm going to really have to do this. And I think at that point, like, I was an adult. Like, I hadn't been in school for a little while. And I was like, I don't know. And I think, the money, the financial aspect, like, it was a lot to it. And, it was a lot to sign, like, a 6-month lease for an apartment, like, sign a year lease. Like, that's a long time. Being young, I think just, like, the concept of time is, like, man, like, 1,500 hours? Like, that's a long time. So I think as my son got older, it was kind of like, all right, I need to do something. And I remember that lady, like, if you're going to do it, like, you need to do it. Like, do something. So I finally ended up, committing and went to barber school. And I got 500 hours in, and I ended up getting kicked out. So I think just back then at the time, I was a different person. I had a bad attitude. I did that, clock in, leave out, for the day, come back, clock back in. I was that person. And just not, like, fully committed to it. And I think, I was like, man, I've never done hair. Like, I was scared of it, a little bit too. Like, everybody in the course was, like, already been doing hair and was cutting everybody at the high school, and like they wanted it, and I think I was still unsure, like, is this really what I want?
It was something you had never done before.
Yeah,
right?
It was so like brand new, and I think I was just terrified. And so when I was like, finally, like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I've been telling people I'm going to barber school. Like, people are asking for haircuts now, and like I've literally done like one haircut. I'm 500 hours deep, and I don't even know anything that's going on because I haven't been there.
Yeah.
And I think they just, like, noticed me, like...
Not being there.
Yeah, and then, like, I'm there, and they're like, who's this? And so I remember they're just, like... They gave me a hard time, and I remember just kind of having, like, an attitude, and I got into it with the owner, and he kicked me out on the spot. And I was just, like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? It was, like, a huge wake-up call. And at the time, like, of course, I was mad, and, like, how could they do this to me? And it's because of this and because of that, and... Although it was, I'm sure, because of other reasons, and like, yeah, the schools aren't perfect, and the owners and management, instructors, like, that's a whole nother element. But a lot of it was like, I wasn't doing what I needed to be doing. So at the moment, it was like the worst thing ever. Yeah. But now it was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
So at what point did you get back in? Was you were still in Colorado at that point?
So I was still in Colorado at that point, and I think 3 or 4 months later, I was like, okay, like, this is for real. Like, I'm really out here. And, it was a thing where, like, I was getting help with my son from my parents. And so it was kind of like, man, I was supposed to complete this and then, move forward and do all these things. And, like, I got, not only, you know, my whole city and friends looking at me because I've been like saying I'm doing this, and you know, I have my family and like my son, and now I'm like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do? So it was like a huge wake up call, and it was like, if I stay here in this environment around my friends in my bubble, like I don't know what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna be at. So it's like I gotta leave town. So from there it was like, okay, where can I go? I had my brother, he was in Cali, so I'm like, okay, cool. My hours can transfer, there's reciprocity, I'll go to Cali. I had everything set up, and then my brother's like, hey, I'm moving, I'm going to China.
He said, I'm out.
Literally like a couple weeks before I was like trying to come. And so I was like, man, okay, I got my grandparents there in Arizona. Like, we're not super close, but I need to get out of town. So literally called them up like, hey, can I come out there? This is what I'm trying to do. This is my plan. And so they were cool. They let me come out. And literally like a few weeks later, got a one-way flight, packed my bag, and I came out here. So came out here, you know, no car, no nothing, no, just like completely fresh. So
did you bring your son with you, or?
My son actually had been out here. So my parents had moved about 6 months prior. And so I had sent my son out like, hey, in a few months, I'll be done with barber school. If he can complete, you know, his 3rd grade year, I'll complete barber school. By that time, it'll be summertime. Everything will be cool. So at that point, now I'm kicked out of barber school. So I'm just like...
So you was wilding.
I was wilding. We won't get into those stories.
Like no parents, no kid.
Yeah, I was wilding out for sure.
Yeah,
different person. That was a long time ago.
All right. We'll leave that there.
Yeah, for sure. It's in the past.
All right. So you get here, and then what happens?
So I get here, and I actually had a good friend that I went to high school with that was here, and I needed a ride from the airport. She couldn't pick me up, so her mom was able to pick me up, and her mom had lived pretty close to my grandparents. So through that, and I think not being as close with my family, I kind of bonded with her mom, and she was pretty cool. And so that was like my safe place, like coming here. And, you know, she was just kind of like, hey, like, what's your plan? What are you going to do? Yeah. And so I was like, I want to go to barber school, but my hours don't transfer here. Like, it's all this stuff. Like, I don't know what to do. And so it was just really like her, like, all right, let me get my computer out. Let's look up at the barber schools. You know, she's like, here's a list of barber schools. Go to the barber schools. See which one you like. See what you got to do to get in there, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it's like, okay, I need a job. Like, I don't have any money. You know, she's like, it was Mother's Day weekend, and she's like, okay, edible arrangements, they'll hire people, you know, kind of under the table to help. It's Mother's Day weekend. So I literally walked from my grandparents to edible arrangements. I did that for like that whole weekend, like 3 days. Paid me under the table. She's like, cool, that's like a little start. So she's like, okay, now apply to this job and this job. And so I ended up getting on at Natural Grocers, and they were like a grocery store. And so from like literally the whole build out of the grocery store, from putting the shelves in to, you know, scanning the food and all the items, putting the barcodes in the little slits and stocking the shelves and everything. So I did that for like 3 or 4 months, and then they moved us to another store to build another store. I'm like, where's the schedule at? Like, I'm trying to go to barber school. And they're like, if you don't have open availability, like, you know, sorry. Yeah. And so I'm like, you know, went back to her, and she's like, okay, well, FedEx, they work, you know, these night hours from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. You can go there and go to barber school. I'm just like, what? Like, she's like, if you're going to make it work, like, you got to make it work. Yeah. And so I ended up getting on at FedEx, and I'm going to around a few of the barber colleges and just kind of seeing which one I like. There was a couple in Mesa. There was one in Chandler. And I was like, all right, I'm going to check this one out. Went to International. Yep. And I worked at FedEx. So I did that through barber school. So I'd wake up like 2:30 in the morning, get to FedEx 3, and, you know, loading the trucks. They're coming, the boxes were coming off like the conveyor belt. And you're scanning them and taking them off and loading them in the truck. And so I did that until like 7:30, 8 in the morning. Ran back to my grandparents, showered, went to barber school. And at this time, my son ended up staying with my parents. So they were taking him to school, whatnot. So I was able to go to barber school from Monday through Saturday.
Nice.
And just like bust out hours.
Yeah, that's good. You had the support.
Absolutely.
To help you out there and to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure.
And keep you on track and hold you accountable.
Needed it.
Yeah. So you end up going to international, and so how long did that take you to finish Barber School?
So I did the 1,500 hours in about 11 months. So I was able to complete that, less than a year.
Yeah.
And it was a good experience, pretty good school.
Yeah.
So we did that, and I took my test, failed my first test. Devastated because I'm like, man, I've been like slaving, working my butt off. Ended up failing, and then I was fortunate enough that there was a test 2 weeks after. So I paid the money, and I was able to retake, and I was able to get my license from there.
Nice. And then what was it like going into that first shop? Well, or even if you want to name the shop, what was the first shop you went to after you became licensed?
So the first shop I worked at was Draven's. D-Boy's shop. It was off Mills, I think.
Yeah.
In Tempe. And it was cool. I liked the shop. It was little, small. Like, there was 4 chairs, cool vibe. Tony was in there. Elias was in there. And it was a cool vibe. Like, the people were cool. I really liked it, enjoyed it. I worked there for maybe like less than 6 months. I was at that shop. He ended up selling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sold it to Angel.
Angel, yeah.
And it became Damper Dons.
Right. Yeah.
And I worked at Damper Dons for a little while also. Shout out to Angel. He helped me a lot through Barber School, and I watched him a lot, almost every Sunday during Barber School. So he's been like a big support. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So at what point did you, or how many shops did you go through before you got to where you are now, to now being in your own studio? What was that time frame like, and then what were some of the struggles or the growth periods that you went through?
Oh man, let me pull my list up. So I was at a few shops. I was at Gateway for a while. I was at Gentleman's in Glendale with Liz, True Story, Damper Dons, Draven's. I was at Lefty's for a little while, about 6 months. And there was so many good things I learned at each and every one, and then there was things that I didn't like and didn't care for. And I think out of all those experiences, it was like, okay, from this, I'm going to take it and kind of create something of my own. And, out of everything, it was like, I want a place where everybody's safe. White, black, yellow, brown, green, whatever color you are, I want you to be able to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
As far as like the conversation, the music, the tone, the vibe, like I don't want anybody to feel unwelcome. So that's what I wanted to create. I wanted a place where, if you were gay or lesbian or whatever you categorize yourself as, you had a place to come and it wasn't awkward. Because I felt a lot of people were uncomfortable in certain situations or certain barber shops, coming from a more masculine, kind of vibe. Some people feel uncomfortable, or some moms, don't want to get hit on or don't want to get looked at, and I kind of got that, certain things. Or I was like, okay, I want to create this experience. Like, I want a place that smells good, somewhere's nice, and there's toilet paper, and the towels are clean, and there's the lights that are working, and the register, and the phone, And I just certain things that I was like, from each one, like, that I like and I didn't like. And Lefty's was the last place I was at. And some of the barbers were like, hey, if you start using the Square app, you can build credit through them. Mm-hmm. So after some time, they'll offer you a loan. So I think I was there for about 6 months, and then I got the loan. Yeah. And like the day I was like, I'm out. And there was a suite that I had passed every day driving to Lefty's, like on my way from the house out there. And so it was just kind of like every day I seen it, and it was just motivation and like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I want to be closer to my home, and I want to have my son, and like I want to have like my life back. So, I mean, at this point, I'm almost 30, okay, like I
so
need this,
old, almost 30.
Yeah, I need this to start moving.
Gotcha, yeah.
So I was able to get the suite, And from there, it was just kind of like, okay, hopefully some people will follow me, and I just have to build it. And not being from here, it was like, okay, I really got to go hard on this social media. And I started that in Barber School, the Instagram, just to put myself out there, you know, and also to hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
And so by doing that and just kind of posting, and, you know, people are like, man, you're like, every time I pull up my Instagram, it's JD BARBA. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I'm getting on your nerves, but like, I need you to come get a haircut.
They won't forget you.
Yeah,
you know,
come on.
Even if they don't even watch the video or listen to the audio or whatever, they see your face. They're like,
exactly.
You know, so when they think about getting a haircut, and that's how I feel like when I send emails out to customers, like, I don't care if they read it or not, but they're going to see in their inbox the business name, you know, so, you know, they'll get it, or the text. And a lot of times they'll come in, I got a text, I don't know what it said, but I got one from you.
Yeah, I'm like, you didn't read it? Like, right. I sent you like an email and a text, and like,
they don't read it. But it keeps you top of mind.
Absolutely.
So when they are ready to make that decision, they know who to come to.
Right, for sure.
For whatever it is their needs are. So you've been in the suite for how long now?
Going into my fifth year.
Fifth year. And how are things? How's it been?
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it was scary. Like, it was really like jumping off a cliff. You know, I just had to do it and like peel the Band-Aid back. And my buddy was just like, I remember like going like and looking, and he was like, are you going to get it or not? Like, because you keep talking about it. Like, you're getting on my nerves. So it was just like, okay, pull the trigger, do it. And a lot of that days, like, I didn't have anything to do. And it was like, I'm sure I came to your spot plenty of times, and it was just like looking around, because it's like I didn't have any clients or nothing to do. Or there was plenty of times that I went to like different shops or salons and just like sat and shadowed and talked, and you know, because it was like I didn't have any clients. So the buildup of getting clients was just kind of like from referrals and the clients that I did have, and, you know, hey, do you want a free haircut? Like, come, I'll offer, you know, a facial, or I'll do this face mask. I'll, you know, kind of incentives to bring people in. And from there, it just kind of started to grow, and I got busier and busier. And, you know, throughout the years, it's really built up. And then COVID happened. Yeah. And so it was like I was in the perfect situation, because a lot of things, I mean, we weren't shut down ever.
It's Arizona,
we in the Wild West, for real.
Right.
But people liked that I was by myself, and they didn't have to wait. We could shut the door. You know, they felt comfortable taking their mask off, or, you know, they wanted to leave the mask on, whatever they preferred. But they really liked the private suite, and I think people just had got used to it. Like, they got comfortable, and it's a whole nother experience and an appointment when it's like one-on-one, and someone can like really express themselves, and like I have guys like crying, you know, and I'm just like, this is the first time we met, and he's like, oh my God, I've never told anybody this, like. Just sitting in your chair, and like people all the time, like, this is my therapy. Like, you know, I come to you and we talk. Yeah. And so it also like opened a whole nother level of just like being connected and like personal with people. And then that, I think people felt more comfortable and were like, oh, I have a friend. Yeah. Oh, I have this, I have that. And so it just like elevated the experience, and then kind of pushed me to have more clientele and just get busier and busier. So it's been good for sure.
So what's your outlet? So a lot of people come to you and they sit in your chair and they just pour out to you. What do you do to recharge, or, you know, who do you go to, or what is your thing?
I think in the last few years I've really cut a lot of like professional athletes and gym guys and ladies, and so I've really gotten inspired to work out. And one of my good clients, you know, he was kind of like, if you really want to be successful, like, you got to work out and take care of your body, and your health is important. So I've been like the last few years just like really trying to, you know, work on me and myself, and, you know, personal stuff. And I know you noticed my tan earlier, so that's just like going for a walk every morning, and like that's just being my time. Like, okay, I'm setting this time for me, gonna take the walk, gonna put my podcast in, or listen to music, or listen to nothing. Just kind of be out here and, you know, do my workout, or, you know, go hit some balls. I love hitting golf balls. Yeah. So, like, that's my thing, or hanging out with friends. Really just, I'm a mom, so I don't have too many things that I can do away from being for my son. But, you know, spending time with him, cooking for him. I recently got into paddleboarding, so, like, I'm obsessed with that.
This episode is brought to you by Leonetti's Barber Supply. We've been in the barber supply business since 1968, helping barbers deliver their best haircuts. We're located at 1633 East McDowell Road, Phoenix, Arizona, 85006. We've got everything you need. We've got your clippers, we've got your trimmers, we've got your disinfectants, everything you need to help you deliver your best haircut. Now let's get back to this episode.
But those are, you know, certain ways that I, like, express myself, or, you know, release stress. And then I have my, like, you know, 2 or 3 clients that, like, I'm really close with, and I'm just like, I'm cutting their hair, and I'm like, let me just, like, tell you everything, you know. But just kind of, like, finding different ways or experiencing new things. I'm trying to do different and new things just as a way to, like, de-stress.
Yeah. And what about competing? Have you ever thought about it, or have you competed, or what's been your experience in that realm?
So I'm super shy. I may not seem shy, but I'm, like, naturally shy. So I'm like, don't like to compete. I have competed because I feel like, you know, you should put yourself out there, and you can't knock it until you try it, for sure. So I've competed, put myself out there. This was like maybe like 5 years ago. I did a competition, and honestly, I did the competition, and it was in Colorado. And I was thinking, like, it's gonna be, you know, some of the people that I had went to barber school with back home, and we'll be competing, and, like, it was more or less like, okay, like, I'm not a loser, I made it. Like, it was for me to go back and be like, okay, I'm out here, like, I'm doing something. So I went back, and, like, nobody was competing that, like, I knew in my, you know, kind of group, or, you know, as far as a barber. But it was just all, like, owners and, like, OG barbers, like, really, like, top notch, like, people I, like, looked up to. It was like, oh shit. So it was like everything that could go wrong happened. Like, my model couldn't, you know, come, and this happened and that happened, and the time got switched, and ended up finding a model, and, like, I just did it. Yeah. And, like, I didn't end up winning or anything, but my model had, like, never gotten, like, this type of haircut, didn't really have a style, and, like, just to see, like, his family, to see him, like, he was so happy, like, they were like, oh my God, we love it, and ended up being, like, the lady that had, like, been the main sponsor of the show. So it was it was, like, a big deal, and a lot of the owners were just, like, had came up to me, like we see you, Jay, like, JD BARBA, and, you know, and it was just like, you know me? Like, you know my name? Oh, my God. And it's like, yeah, like, we see you doing your thing. Like, you're always on our thing on Instagram, getting on our nerves. But, you know, like, keep doing your thing. So that ended up a few weeks later, one of the barbershop owners called me like, hey, can you cut this guy's hair? And I was like, are you sure? Like, you're so good. Like, oh, my God. Like, you know, I was just so, like.
You were back here
I was
in
back
Arizona?
in Arizona. Yeah. And I was just so, like, happy that this guy was, like, asking me. I'm like, you're, like, amazing. And he's like, you know, you're consistent. You're going to show up. Like, I could ask 20 other people that I know down there, but, like, I know you're going to make it, and you're going to show up and give the guy a good cut. So that's why I'm hitting you up.
Dependability, reliability.
Yeah, you're reliable. Yeah. So I'm like, he's like, I don't cut like you don't cut like me, no, like, but you do a good job, so I'm asking you. Yeah. So the guy ended up calling me, and I went, and at first, like, I didn't know. I was like, oh, they look like athletes or some college guys, and they ended up playing, they're baseball players. And so I started cutting these guys, and they're like, and I was actually, like, at a shop, and I wasn't making any money, and I was just, like, struggling. And so they would call me, like, 9, 10 o'clock, like, hey, can you come cut us? And I'm like, yeah, like, let me put my kid to sleep, and I'll come cut you guys.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then like each time I went, it'd be more players and more guys, and then I went a couple more times, and then it was like a different house, like a nicer house, and the guys were like look nicer, and I was like, okay, but I don't know sports, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then I pulled up to one house, and guy opened the door, and I'm like, okay, like this is nice, and I'm cutting the guys. Like at this time, I've known them for a little while, and just like talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, guy comes in like, hey, can you cut my hair? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Like next in line, whatever. And the guy was like, that's Cody Bellinger. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, anyway, back to our story. Right. And he's like, Jay, that's Cody Bellinger. And I'm like, okay, cool, got it, Cody. I got it. He's like, Jay.
You don't understand.
That's Cody Bellinger. I'm like, bro, like, why are you whispering? Like, stop being weird. Like, okay, I got it. And so he ended up taking like a boomerang and posting it. And like my Instagram went crazy.
Yeah.
And then like all my clients and friends were like, oh my God, where did you cut this guy? And
yeah.
I was like, I was at his house in his bathroom, like, and they're like, look, oh my cow, like, I don't know, like, he just called me over and I went to his house, like, so by competing, I was able to get that opportunity, which I probably would have never got if I didn't go do that. So, I mean, I'm not a big competitor. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. Never say never, but by putting myself out there, it opened up a lot of doors and created a good opportunity. And it's 5 years later, and I still cut a lot of those guys. So it was good for me to compete, even just for that one time. I think I won.
Nice. So so you don't even get starstruck, huh? Because you don't even know who they are.
No, because like and then sometimes they're like, hey, can you cut my buddy? Or hey, and like they'll tell me who they are. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know anything about baseball, but I'm like learning. And there's been a couple like football guys. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but it's cool because it's like.
And maybe they like it that way because then they know they're getting the true, genuine service from you.
And I think so, and which has also been another benefit of the suite because they can come in and they're not bothered, and they like that. It was just kind of like we've always had to have someone come to our house or. We had some in the locker room, but we're able to come to you. Like, we want to be able to come to the barbershop and get that experience, but, like, I don't want to be bothered. And,
right.
Also, like, you don't even know anything about baseball, so, which is fine. I mean, like, they're teaching me as I go, but I think they just kind of like that, and they can kind of just have an experience like everybody else and not be bombarded, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so what other opportunities have come about, with the athletes? Have you gone to the stadiums? Have you done anything like that? Or have they asked you to travel or?
So, no, a lot of the guys live here. So while they're in season, they usually have like a barber that's like, that comes to the stadium or things like that. So I haven't done anything like that. But, when they do come home, because it's off season, like they're regularly coming here. Or sometimes when they play in AZ, they're like, hey, can you come to my hotel? Or, hey, can you come to the house real quick and cut me? So nothing like no crazy trips yet, but I'm ready. I'm here. Let me know. Send the itinerary. I'll come. But it's been some good opportunities with just meeting other people. And then, they have local family and friends that live here too. So I've been able to gain clientele just off, their local friends or family that actually live in the area who are consistently here and can be like the regular client.
Yeah. So what's your charge for a home cut to pull up?
$300.
Woo!
I mean, it's a lot. And it was hard to ask for that.
Yeah.
But also know, like, I'm in your like little bathroom. I'm like this, or over like this, and I'm bringing my stuff to you. It's time, it's travel. I could have done 2 to 3 haircuts because I do offer a longer service. So, I'm not like in and out. So it would have taken me, the time that I spent with you. I could have had 2 to 3 other services at the shop. So, it's really just about time.
So when they come lined up to one person's house, it's $300 a head.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that?
I mean, you can come to the shop. Like, Come to the shop.
What is it if they come to the shop?
Well, haircut and beard is $95.
$95. Get it.
I'm in Gilbert.
Okay.
That's the demographic. I have a target demographic.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I serve. And I mean, I think I'm doing what I need to do. I'm creating the experience, the vibe. I'm catering to you. I'm giving you not only like a custom premium haircut, but also the ambiance. Yeah. You're paying for my time. I take classes. My tools are expensive, everything. Yeah. So it's a lot to it. And I mean, it's not for everybody, but Nobu has Sprite and so does McDonald's. So where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? That's all.
Have you had to fire any clients? Tell them, no, you can't come back here.
Yes, and that's just raise my prices. Because, at the beginning, you have to cut everybody. Yeah. And there's some people that you don't want to cut. And, even, for being a female, too, sometimes people can be, uncomfortable and awkward and be like, this person. Or just, some people just that vibe. And you're like, we do not vibe. Our energy does not match. Or they're just, talking too much, or they're saying too much, or they're just weird. They're not saying anything. I can't get anything out of this person. Definitely. And so, at first, initially, you got to cut everybody. Yeah. But I think once you get to a certain point, you have to for your peace of mind. Cut people off and, just raise your price. They'll get the point.
They'll get the point.
Or if not,
they'll fire themselves.
Yeah. And then, okay, there's some that you pay me whatever, I'll deal with it. But yeah, definitely. And it's for your own peace of mind. I also don't want to be there with you for 45 minutes to an hour and I'm feeling uncomfortable. Yeah. I'm also comfortable within myself to not be uncomfortable and just be no, I don't like that. Yeah. And which it has taken a long time because you don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. And I do want to service everybody. And it's okay, cool. I do want the money also. But it also is, a lot to have to deal with some people.
Yeah. Yeah. So it took you some time to get to that spot, to grow to that. But now you're at that point where you can definitely choose.
Absolutely. And a lot of it's just seeing my own worth and realizing and okay, my value from 4 years ago is not my current value. So I need people to understand that. But I also, too, I have to realize that yourself. And believe it myself, too. And that took a lot of coaching and, that's daily work also. And like I was saying, working on myself, taking my walks, working out, just eating right and figuring out me. But also it's, does a lot for my peace of mind and my business. These are the things that you have to do to have a safe space. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about new barbers coming out the gate charging $50, $60 a cut? And what's your opinion?
I mean, if you're good and you're confident and you can do that and people want to pay it, charge whatever you want to charge. Yeah. I mean, I also think, you should have great customer service and, experience does add a lot to that. Nothing beats experience and the time and the work put in. Yeah. But also, if someone's going to pay you for that, why not? You know what I mean? There's somebody for everybody. Yeah. That's how I feel. And
it's the value you bring into the client.
And if you can get it off, do it. I think, why not? More power to you. Everybody's getting a raise or wanting to have better opportunities for themselves. If you're going to do what it takes and, your cuts are fire, you're blowing up on TikTok, show me how, give me some tips. New barbers,
So what is your favorite type of haircut to do?
I honestly, I don't know if I have a favorite cut. I think I have certain clients that I like cutting more than other clients who are man, I really like how that looks afterwards, you know, or there are some clients who have more difficult, hair textures or their blend. I have some Asian clients where I'm every time I'm cutting it, I'm man, I'm working. It's been 5 years, but I'm still have to be precise with it. So I think I like those clients who are challenging. Their hair's a little bit different, or it's just okay, I have to work. Or they're let's switch it up. I'm okay, how are we going to do this with your facial features and your head? You got that bump on your head, or, you know, your hair doesn't go this way. Like, how are we going to get it to go? So I like those clients where it's like, let's switch it up, do something different.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
It's all good. And last and final, well, two more questions. So what is, now I know you were experimenting or getting into the units. Are you still providing that service, or how?
Yes, I've been doing the units. Man, it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
Done a lot of training courses with the units. I do offer that as a service. So if anybody needs a unit, if anybody would like some education about the hair units, definitely hit me up. So I do offer that. It's not like my main, you know, breadwinner, but I definitely do the units. My main thing now, what I'm really trying to do is the weddings. So I want to offer on-site grooming services at your wedding or any, you know, photo shoot, rehearsal dinner, you know, pictures as far as engagement, things like that. If you're having like a corporate event, you know, look good, feel good, I want to come, you know, get everybody groomed up for the event. So that's what I'm working on now, is kind of on-site grooming, JD BARBA events.
Nice. Awesome. Man, you've got a lot going on.
I'm trying to have all the streams of income.
Yeah. So if you had one piece of advice for any barber, what would you say? What would that be?
I would say to honestly really figure out what you want to do. You know, invest in yourself, invest in your craft. You know, find a mentor, find multiple mentors. I have like literally 6 mentors that I'm, you know, throughout the day I'm texting, I'm talking, I'm getting to know, you know, what do you think about this? What do you like this? How do you feel? Like, what should I do? What should I charge? You know, putting yourself out there. Don't miss opportunities. You know, there's some opportunities that I missed just from being scared or I don't know, am I good enough to cut this person? Like, yeah, or just, you know, being unsure of myself. So putting yourself out there, investing in yourself and your craft, finding a mentor, and just being patient. Be patient. It'll come. Enjoy the journey. And through that, you know, I know everybody wants to go from 0 to 100, but, you know, at 25, enjoy it and, you know, see how far you come at 50. Also enjoy it and really embrace and, you know, have fun with the journey.
Yeah.
So just be patient and invest in yourself. Find a mentor is the best thing that I can say for everybody.
Awesome. Those are great words of wisdom there. And we certainly appreciate you coming by and spending this time with us, and looking forward to seeing what comes next from JD BARBA.
Yeah, same with you. I remember you coming in the van, so you guys come a long way. I've always loved to support you guys, and I appreciate you guys always supporting me and having this platform for us to share for the industry and community. It's
absolutely, awesome. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. That's what it's about. And just wanted to say thank you all again for taking time to tune in to this episode with JD BARBA. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get notified of any new episode that comes out. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, all of that good stuff, and we'll see you later. Peace.